Hello. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Developer Hangout today, December 5th, 2018.
Your birthday.
It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's my birthday. I'm 38. I'm old.
You're so old.
I'm so old.
So old.
So if you've never joined us before, we stream 3 times a week here at Privateer Press every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific. On Tuesdays is the weekly Rumble, where we play games like Monster Apocalypse, War Machine, and Hordes. Wednesdays is what you're watching today. It's the Developer Hangout, where we usually talk about new CID cycles and other cool things going on in game development. Thank you, chat, right now for all the happy birthdays. I do appreciate that. And Thursdays is my favorite. It's Dallas's show, Get Your Paint On, where Dallas Kemp is going to paint and teach you hobby tips and tricks.
And tomorrow's kind of special because Schick threw down the gauntlet and said, Iron Painter Live.
Yeah, Dallas does not know what he's going to paint tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
And Schick's going to be in there yelling strange things at him, like use your beard and close your eyes.
So get ready for a weird Get Your Paint On.
It'll be weird.
Oh, yeah.
Friday is also a special show. Friday is going to be this month's Primecast. So you want to join us at 10 a.m. Pacific for Primecast with host myself and Will Schick.
It's also Formula P3 Presents Live. That one will probably be at 10. Primecast will probably get bumped to 1 o'clock. But I'll have a schedule up very shortly.
We'll know more later. So, but come join us Friday.
2 live things on Friday.
Yep.
It's a Christmas miracle. Wait.
In case you missed it, we are streaming live at twitch.tv/privateerpress, so we will be answering the chat as we go through everything. And I apologize. I failed
It's all birthday.
It's all birthday stuff. I love you guys so much. I failed to do something really important. I'm joined by development manager Oz Schoonover and lead CID developer William Pagani.
For a little longer.
For a little longer.
Hug-goo-goo.
Don't make me start hugging you on stream.
We can cry it out.
Oh no.
He
Wait.
can only hug you if he hugs me too. So it's
Oh,
a
no.
barrier.
You should be ready for next week's stream, by the way. Next week's dev chat.
Just soggy devs all the way through.
I'm just going to be leaning on you the whole time. Arms
Soggy
wrapped
devs.
around you.
I'll just trade places with
Hashtag
you.
soggy devs.
I'll trade places with you. Okay.
No, so before we jump into the CID and start talking about rules and all the cool stuff, I just want to remind everybody a couple things. Today is the last day to sign up for the first model in the Legend of the Five Rings mini crate. You can go to mini-crate.com/L5R. That model is still available today.
Dragon Clan champion Togashi Yokuni.
Yep, you have till the end of the day to sign up for that first model. Then it'll switch over. And the newest standard mini crate model, Ice Queen Lanissa, is up, and she's available till December 19th. So you can sign up and get her. And if you sign up for a 6-month subscription, you get Alexia, Handmaiden of Death, as your special VIP model.
For free.
And there's a VIP for the L5R mini crate too, the Naga Archer.
Yeah,
She looks super cool.
So let's go ahead and just jump right into things, shall we?
We have
do it.
papers. Let's use them.
So I already see one thing in chat that says, why no galleon? Because the galleon's not a steelhead.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit with the steelheads. It fits with Italian people.
Yes.
It's a pirate.
We've talked about a pirate
Yeah.
CID that's going to, more than likely occur sometime. We don't have an exact ETA to give you, so we don't want to talk about it too much, but a galleon would go in the privateer CID, like you said.
Correct. Not in the steelhead one.
So Steelhead's got their CID data. They got a lot of new models. They got a brand new theme force just for running Steelheads. It's very exciting, and there have been a lot of other changes. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with all the new models. Then we'll go through all the legacy models that changed. And then we're going to talk about the theme force, and then we'll be talking to you along with this. So let's get right into the 3 weapon crews, which are sort of a major feature of the Steelhead theme force, is this powerful gun line they can bring to bear. Let me start with them?
Sure.
All right, so there's 3 different weapon crews, and the most important thing to us as development is that each has a viable role on the battlefield. That each fills differently. Some will clearly be better in other situations because they're specialized roles, but we want to make sure that one of them isn't always better than the other ones, that there's not a single go-to you're taking every single time. The 3 of those, first off, there's the Steelhead Cannon. There's also the Steelhead Mortar, and finally there's the Steelhead Volley Gun. And let's talk about each of them individually. The Cannon is your heavy thumper, and I know thumper is something else in the game for Trollbloods, but that's what it does, right? It's got brutal damage, it's got quake. It's meant for hitting hard targets. It's going to pair really well with the gunner and having the siege tactics.
I think it's to shoot twice with him, right?
Yeah.
No, that's the Signar one.
Yeah. It just shoots really hard with that boy.
Yeah.
The mortar is sort of your long-range light infantry clear. It's got arcing fire, it's got high explosive, it's meant to shoot past your lines and take out any light infantry that might be trying to jam up your front line of your cav and your halberdiers. And
It's
then
also got craters, so it can throw a wrench into your opponent's plans for moving their models sometimes.
the crater's like fun utility.
Yeah.
And it's useful, but I think its main purpose is going to be sort of just blasting chunks of light infantry away and clearing them out. And then finally, you've got the volley gun, which is a really, really interesting one. That's kind of the Punisher piece, that if anybody gets too close to your middle or back line, this thing is just going to open up and do a ton of damage. And the further you move it up, the more of a threat it becomes. And I really like that it's also got covering fire, because I see steelheads often attacking in waves. And the covering fire can help protect the sort of squishier second wave that's coming up from behind the cavalry.
It also has volume fire, which will help it take out slightly harder targets than infantry. So it's that medium, middle of the road, can deal with infantry, can also deal with some better targets.
Yeah.
The cannon's better at taking out single heavy targets, and the mortar's better at infantry, but the volley gun can kind of sit in the middle. Which is what Hungerford said. We want to make sure the volley gun isn't the only model that anybody ever wants to take, because it can kind of do a little bit of everything.
Correct. And that's the main thing we'll be looking at in testing, is in the battle reports, is everybody just reaching for the same weapon crew over and over again. And also interactions that people are seeing both in the Steelhead theme and then outside the Steelhead theme. You know, irregulars is a thing. We'll be talking about irregulars later on in the stream. Things that we are looking to address irregulars. It's had its time in the sun, and now we're going to have to bring it down a little bit, because simply put, it's too good. And
Excuse me, I'm
all
dying
these
over here.
all these interactions obviously will take place in irregulars, where you have a greater list of models that you can pair them with, and so it's going to be a lot of interactions and a lot of battle reports to go through. We had a couple questions come up in the chat, and one of which was, why no legacy casters like Magnus 1 in this CID? And that's because all the casters that would have been appropriate for this CID, so no privateers and no Rulik, because they'll have their own CIDs later. No Cephalics, because obviously.
Cephalic. Yeah.
And Lealese, also separate. We weren't really looking at like Ashlyn or Gaston. So we're looking at your Damiano, Magnus 1, Magnus 2, like the traditional human merc warcasters, and we did a full review of them. And honestly, even with the power level of like Damiano, and like I said, Ostrom would be in a Rulik one, we're happy with all of them. We're happy with Magnus 1. We're happy with Magnus 2. We like where they're performing right now. We like what they're doing within the meta. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So since we just talked about the big guns, should we talk about the gunner next?
Sure.
Just things are a little out of order.
Well, no, we're doing the Arcanist next, because that's the one we have. We have the art for the Arcanist pulled in
What
next.
about the guy that
not gonna make it,
tells the
John.
guns how to
I'm not going to make it.
just cough straight up in the air?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
You just
So
take your mic and just throw it across the room.
Yep.
Let's not do that.
yeah. So the Arcanist.
Yeah, so the Arcanist is, I think, a model that came out that really like surprised a lot of people with how powerful it is and what he's bringing to the table. First off, giant bubble of give everybody magic weapons, which is huge for an army that, especially in their theme force, wants to play a gun line, or can play a very, very strong gun line. You know. Additionally, he has 3 great spells. Bombshell if somebody gets too close to you. Empower, which is maybe a bit much in Mercs, but we're kind of happy with it, and we're going to see what people are able to do,
Yeah.
especially, again, in irregulars. And then the ability to remove cloud walls.
You can't take this guy to regulars, right?
Oh, yeah,
Not
because he's not a character.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's been a day.
Now, Wind Thrower requires him to get close to what he wants to do, because he has to place it completely within his 8-inch command.
Yes.
So he can knock out a cloud wall of some sort, but he's going to have to get up there and do it. So that's probably not one of the things that we're super concerned about being an overpowered part of this guy. But in combination with the rest of what he's doing, maybe it is a little bit too much.
Yeah, it just might be a little too much efficiency packed into one model, right?
Yeah.
Chat wants you to get some tea.
Well, I would love to get some tea, but I'm on a stream right now. So I don't know what we're doing after the
Do we
stream.
have hot tea in the building?
Tony does.
Yes, definitely.
So if Tony's
can
watching,
source.
he could make
Tony,
that
if you're watching the stream right
can
now,
source some
make us
tea.
some hot tea, and if you could just come in here like in
Yeah,
like
that'd be
10 minutes
amazing.
and just drop it off to Pagani.
But he has to do it in the green sheet, just holding the teacup. So the teacup
teacup
floats
floats
in
in.
and sits down, and then nothing.
That'd be
I'm bringing that. I'm gonna hide
You're
under
going to
that
get the green
sheet.
bodysuit?
I'm gonna hide under that sheet
So
on
good.
the live stream.
So
one of these
obviously,
days.
with the Arcanist, the main thing we're testing is his spells are very strong, but giving everybody magic weapon is absolutely huge. You okay, buddy?
Hey, thought I was fine.
No.
So magic
It all
weapons,
started.
magic weapons, and empower are the 2 things that we want to keep an eye on in this guy.
Yep. Next up, we've got the Steelhead Gunner, which surprise, he's Rulik, so enjoy that, everyone.
Yeah.
Not only are the Steelheads getting something cool, but
His
you
hat is a separate piece.
you Hammer Strike players are also getting some really cool stuff. God, look at that model. Look at that flamethrower. Dudes are just a Rat 6 flamethrower that's POW 12. Like, most people are not looking at his combat capabilities, but you should pay attention to his combat
I'm
capabilities.
just upset that his Dragon's Breath cannon or whatever, fire breather, isn't a pineapple.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Like Rock Bottoms is a pineapple. Why
Sure.
can't this guy?
Rock Bottoms is fancier.
Yeah.
This is a
fancy pineapple.
just get the job done. Rock Bottoms has like a face on it, doesn't it? Like
But
a
his
dragon
hat
face.
is a separate piece.
And he definitely has a separate piece hat, which we talked about I think a week or two ago.
Yeah.
So
And anytime you can get a hat,
yeah.
separate
I don't
piece.
know. Long Chops has a separate hat, and that's really all I needed in life.
I know, but now you can get a little Steelhead hat with goggles.
Yeah. So what does this guy do? Desperate Pace more weapon crews, which in Steelheads is going to be very strong, but also with the Rulik Hold Artillery Corps. Whew, get that one out of my mouth.
Horgenhold?
That's going to be very strong. Siege Tactics, holy hell. Right?
Siege Tactics is a big deal.
Yeah, Siege Tactics is giving you another die whenever you're attacking huge base models, which is going to be enormous, no pun intended, especially with some of the buff turbo stacks. So like, there's going to be certain like Colossals and Gargantuans that are going to have to keep a close eye on volley guns and cannon crews as they're coming in, or else they're just going to take an absolute ton of damage. I think the gunner is one of the key pieces for any Steelhead gun line, because he's really what allows it to. It takes the threat value of some very strong pieces and pushes it into that, oh God, I have to deal with this now, right? It's sort of like the question the army asks is, can you handle this gun line or not?
Well,
You just look at his face. He knows how valuable he
and
is.
Siege Tactics works on the Rulik models too. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Those
yeah.
artillery, that's going to put a lot. If you're focusing on rule with the battle engine and stuff, it's going to put a lot of siege weapons in the army.
One thing to note is that his veteran leader is Steelhead Weapon Crews, which gives the
Yeah.
Steelhead Weapon Crews +1 to hit, but not the Rulik one. So if you're playing, that is one we found with some playtesters. It's easy to like, oh yeah, this guy gives +1 to Weapon Crews, and you play him with the Rulik ones, and you're like, oh yeah, it gets +1 to Weapon Crews to attack. It doesn't. It's only for the Steelheads.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have any. El Dorte says, can he make a smoke wall with that pipe? No, he may not.
No.
I mean,
Just like a little one.
yeah, just a little.
Just for like his nose.
A half-inch AOE cloud template. And Friendly Troll Painter says, Ostrom is pleased. We agree, and we are going to be paying very close attention to the traditional Ostrom and Damiano list and what they're able to do with some of these new mercs.
And we've got some questions about stats and stuff. All these documents are in the CID right now. We've approved all the members that applied for membership recently. So if you want to go look at them, you can. All you have to do is go to the website. What is it?
CID.privateerpress.com.
There you go.
Yep. Like someone
is
asked, what is the
flashing on
FA
the
of the
screen
Steelhead
right now.
Gunner, and his FA is 2.
Yeah.
You can bring 2 of these bad boys
Yeah.
in your list. Van de Beest says, Troll Whelps with Steelhead hats to go in a Gunbjorn list.
Love it.
I'm so
Yes,
in.
done.
Like, absolutely.
Send pictures. Do it now.
Troll Whelps with long chops hats. Let's do it. Why not?
Throw ups with anything.
Troll Whelps with
Hats
anything.
or wheelbarrows.
Let's talk about a model that has really excited a lot of people just when they saw the concept art. The Steelhead Ironhead.
Yep. So if you're not familiar with the setting very much, Ironheads are mechanics that like steam-powered stuff so much they build big suits, like Darius. Technically, the other guy in Signar, Arlen Strangeways, is an Ironhead too, but he's built a really, really high-tech, like
suit.
skinny suit. Most of the time, they're big, burly, man-of-war type things. So this is another model like that we've alluded to in the setting before, but we are going into a different direction
Look at
now.
that arm. Just look at like,
Yeah.
how do you move that thing?
With
Does
steam
it
power.
just up and down?
Steam power.
No, it can go any way you want.
Haven't you seen Aliens?
Yeah. It's like a power loader?
Yeah. With a hammer.
That's a power loader with a hammer?
Hammer
So
loader.
this is this
Get away from her, you.
is a really good mechanic. D3+2 for the repair, and has girded to protect people around it, and it has a couple of melee weapons that are pretty good. But its main purpose in the army.
Oh no, let's talk about those melee weapons real fast before we get into what you're about to go into.
Sure.
You say pretty good. This is a 4-point, 10 damage armor 18 model, so it's pretty survivable. It's got 2 melee attacks at mat 6, hitting at a 14 and a 13, and one of them has clamp, which is the -2 def and can't advance while in the range. Like, the melee output of this thing for a mechanic is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you're never going to always be charging with this thing, but if you land the clamp and just drop the def of something by 2, like, that can set up other melee runs from your warjacks or casters. Like, I think the damage and offensive output of the Steelhead Ironhead is something that's going to surprise a lot of people when they put it down on the table.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those secondary or even third tier models that comes in and cleans up stuff at the end of the game.
Yeah, Im's Corner on chat says give them the clamps. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, at least one of them.
The clamp, yeah. Just
Give
I mean, you
them
can
the
run
clamp.
2, right?
You give them the single clamp and then you bop them.
Yeah.
That's what the
But-
hammer's for. It's for bopping.
One of the things this model does introduce, it's a new utility piece, is the crane ability. So that was previously on Darius, and now it's available wider, which is why the ability's gotten a slight, tiny tweak in its wording.
A model can only be affected by crane once now because these things are FA2, and being able to effectively slipstream the same model twice is not okay. So-
And the friendly faction changed to crane because it's not on one warcaster in the entire game. Now it's on a solo that can work in lots of different factions. We didn't want everyone to be craning everything constantly all the time.
It'd have
So-
been a bit much.
So that big clamp, it doesn't fit very well on non-mercenary things.
No.
Like squish them.
Well, they don't trust him.
Got to be real careful. Yeah.
They don't trust him, right?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you're gonna pick me up with a giant crane and gently put me over here. How do I know you're not been paid off by the other team? You might just lift me up and crush me.
Yeah.
So, this is another model, especially that crane ability, we're keeping a very close eye on to see what kind of shenanigans people are able to pull off. We did plenty of play testing with this internally, but obviously you put it in front of thousands of people, and all of a sudden, sometimes you see interactions you didn't necessarily see coming.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's get into the legacy models, and I'm going to switch back to that front page so we can
Yeah,
these two real
yeah.
fast.
That's why I folded it and stuck it out there.
High-tech Oz folding technology.
High technology. I
Alexa-
got the techniques no one else has.
Alexia 2 got a nice little bump.
Yes.
So now she can collect souls from friendly and enemy models destroyed in her command range, and not necessarily by an enemy attack. So that soul collection, turn to turn, Alexia is going to have her souls, and she's going to be able to do more with her souls. And that was the problem, is that her soul collection was not reliable enough for her to be able to do all the cool things. And she is like a key character in the IK, a very like centerpiece model. And so having her be awesome is something that was very important to us, and we just wanted her to be more viable.
Literally my favorite character in the game.
And to be clear, this is Alexia on the horse. This isn't Alexia in the Risen unit.
Correct.
So
Yes.
Very important. I really like this change. I think it's going to really get Lexi on the table. Has me excited.
Yep. Next up would be Sergeant Nicholas Varendry. His Matt and Rat went up.
yeah, he's a hero among the Steelheads, so we wanted to bump him up a little bit more stat-wise.
But the main thing is that his field medic ability went up from 3 inches to 5 inches. And this is just because positioning with him was a little awkward.
Yeah.
And we decided that we wanted him to be up there doing what he was doing with Battle Brothers. We wanted him to affect more of the unit. By the way, in the CID forms right now, if you go look at the PDF, you'll see that Battle Brothers on Varendry doesn't have the rules text alongside of it. That rule didn't change. That's something
Yeah.
we'll fix in the next PDF.
Yeah,
So
that's just a weird little part of the database. Sometimes things get turned off.
yeah.
We'll fix it. No problem.
Tell us about the mule.
The mule can shoot farther.
And the Nomad.
That's
So
so we thought the mule should be a little bit more impactful, and it does have the steam pressure, right? Yeah, steam pressure ability that can shoot farther if it doesn't move.
I dropped my phone.
But
What do you
its
need that
range was a little short without that steam pressure, so we just bumped it up a little bit.
Yeah, and people have been asking for +2 range for quite some time. And like right now in chat, I see A2D saying that I'm going to paraphrase because there's some language used there, but they don't like the mule right now, even with the changes. So what I'd recommend is get into the CID forums and post your battle reports with the mule and what you do like and what you don't like and what the problems are. Giving us data and feedbacks is far more useful than just telling us you don't like it. Nomad,
It went up a point.
he got the Juggernaut treatment.
Got him.
Yeah, in comparison to a lot of other Merc Jacks, the Nomad was really, really, really good.
Yes.
But that was because, for what it was paying points-wise, you were getting a lot more out of it than other ones. So we just bumped it up one. And that's where we're going to start. if we get a lot more feedback that says the Nomad is still the best of the Mercjacks and I don't take anything else, then we're going to have to reevaluate and look at everybody else.
Yeah,
some
well,
more.
the thing is, the Nomad also has to be compared to the Toro, which came out, and the Toro's 13 points is an amazing jack, right? And so he went up a point, and is a point difference between him and the Toro not right? Does he need to go back down? Is he right where he is? We'll be, again, seeing what army list people are building with the Nomad, but much like the Juggernaut previous, it's just, he was overperforming for his point value. Steelhead halberdiers and riflemen did not receive any changes. That's because a lot is changing around them. We reviewed their point values and what they were doing, and we were overall happy with them. I know that some people were expecting rifleman changes, but what we want to see a lot of testing first on is all the other things you're able to do in the Steelhead theme first, and then if we continue to see data showing us that these 2 core units need to change, we'll start reevaluating that then.
Yeah, because this army can be a really big gun line now and have access to magic weapons and all that stuff. So we wanted to make sure that everything else wasn't going to push the riflemen or whatever way above what they should be doing.
Yep.
I'm going to pause for just a second. I'm going to address chat here real quick. I have never yet had to ban someone from our streams. I haven't even really had to mute anyone. But please remember that you're interacting with other human beings. Treat them with a modicum of respect. Try to keep your feedback constructive, and know that a lot of people work really long, hard hours to make something cool they want to share with you. Maybe react that way. Thanks.
Thanks, John.
It's my birthday.
Are we talking about Cav? Are
It's my birthday.
we talking about Cav now?
Yeah, we're talking about Cav.
Cool. Steelhead Cav got a bump in functionality.
They got a lot of stuff.
They got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Point blank, I think, is huge on these guys, right?
Yeah, because they
Like,
used to have assault.
and it switched
Yeah.
to point blank.
And point blank
which
allows
let-
them to flank.
Yeah, it benefits
Yeah.
from the flank now, so it's
Yeah.
a huge damage increase for them.
Yeah, their mounts went up to PAL 12,
Sure.
which is a small thing, but again, when they're
I mean,
getting in
it's
there,
relevant.
Yep.
It's relevant. It's not like breaking the bank, but I think point blank is the really big change here. And then the PAL 12 mounts is just solid. But I don't know. I really like where these guys are at right now.
Yep.
So.
They're also going to be a key feature of the theme force. As we talk about the theme
Yes.
force here in a little bit, we'll get to that.
Yep. And then good old Stannis.
Yep.
Stannis got some significant changes. So again, Stannis is supposed to be one of those big support solos you want to take with every Steelhead theme force you play. He's got the tactician that's giving them all. Thinking of the name of the rule right now. Why is my brain shutting off?
You mean tactician?
Yeah, tactician. Oh.
He gives him tactician. He has tactician.
Are
which
we
gives
all
him
sick?
tactician.
I'm
fine.
I've got brain
I don't know
sickness.
what's wrong with you guys.
I
Yeah.
feel fine. I just have a little cough.
Yeah.
So-
So yeah.
Days.
He's always had tactician, which is incredibly important for him because when you're bringing this much infantry, you need them to be able to move through each other. But he himself got a lot stronger. He picked up tough. He has weapon master now on Thrasher, right? And he has obviously unyielding, so +2 armor against melee damage rolls. We want him to be able to survive longer, and once the rest of the Steelheads get stuck in, he goes in alongside of them.
Yeah.
But for somebody that was basically the toughest, meanest Steelhead that existed, the guy was not being the toughest, meanest Steelhead that existed.
Yeah.
So we just sort of bumped him up both defensively and offensively.
Yeah, and he got the mount bump just because he's riding the same horse. Same
I
equipment.
like Dragon Pup's comment. Stannis has been raiding Lucas's drug stash, his juice boxes.
Wild Wing Zero says that you're a death trap and you can feel the coughing coming on. You've infected my brain and Pagani's lungs. I don't believe that.
I wasn't
I don't
on
believe
the
that.
stream last week because my allergies were kicking up and I was coughing a bunch that morning. So I just. But we need.
Maybe I should have learned from
No,
that.
we need you. We need. See, you haven't coughed for a while.
I know.
You're doing fine.
Tony, where's the
figured it out.
tea? Tony, I know you can hear us. I know you listen to the stream. I know you're upstairs right now, like
Making tea?
making videos probably,
Making
and
videos,
like you're like, well, I should bring them some tea, but I feel embarrassed. Tony, this man is dying. We need tea.
Let's talk about the last two warjacks.
Sure.
Okay.
Rocinante and Rover both dropped in points because we evaluated where they were and felt that they were just a little bit overcosted for what they were doing, especially in the entirety of the faction. So we bumped them down a little bit. Maybe some moral change, maybe not. We'll see those battle reports and decide where to go.
Yeah, I
from there.
really like the Rover and all of its abilities. I just thought it was a little bit too expensive compared to other warjacks that you could take and what it was doing.
Yep.
And the Nomad, because always the Nomad.
Yes. So somebody in chat just pointed out that the Nomad is not very good compared to the Driller anymore. And I think that's a driller problem, not a nomad problem. So thank you for bringing that to the eyes of the dev team.
I see somebody said Rocinante needs some creativity. To address that, Rocinante does a lot of cool things right now, but as you play him, we're going to see what people are doing with him, and if there's some cool ideas that come out of that, they may get added, but I wouldn't necessarily expect every model that's on the CID to get like a complete overhaul and a bunch of brand new rules. We just want to make sure that for what they're doing and what they bring, they're the right point value, and that they feel like a viable option. That like when you look at your Rocinante and you're building lists, you might consider them sometimes, you might not.
Also, be careful when you're comparing things between factions. Somebody just said that the Rocinante is worse than the Defender. Merc armies don't have access to Defenders, so keep that in mind. And yes, you can compare models across the board, points, values, and stuff, because we do that kind of thing. But when you're talking about choices and models being better than other models, just be careful about the fact that you might be talking about something that would never be in the same army. It would never be a choice between those two models.
Sure. Sure. I see somebody saying Rocinante needs to not have the worst defensive stats in the game. I think that's a rack.
Yeah, that's true.
Rack might have worse.
Was that like 5'10"?
Yeah, a rack without focus on it. Plus, it might just blow up.
Sure.
That's true.
Sure.
Let's
and Rocinante is built on the same chassis as the Rover, the Nomad, and the Mule, so that's why those stats are like that.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Steelhead theme force, shall we?
Sure, let's do
do
it.
that.
Who wants to do that one?
That'd be cool.
You wanna go?
Pagani.
I can't really talk right now.
I got
I
you,
just
boo.
die.
So, didn't we preview like the craziest Steelhead theme force at Lock and Load like 2 years ago?
No.
No.
We didn't
talk about this.
We never talked about that out loud in
No.
public? Okay.
I kinda
They
want-
never knew about that.
We
I kind of want to, but I don't
I
think
thought
we
we
should.
did. I thought we teased it. Anyway,
No.
never mind.
Yeah. Well, since
we didn't do
Pagani's voice is out, I'll go through it.
Thank you.
So there's the full army composition. You can go to cid.privateerpress.com. It's obviously all Steelhead models. Then you're going to see a selection of different solos and a couple like of the smaller units like Hern and John, Denenblatt and Bull. Basically the kind of unit solos and characters that would be palling around with Steelheads and that are helpful in this kind of list. Now when I say that, I know that people immediately want to open up to, well, what about this solo, this solo, this solo, this solo? It was also a very carefully curated list. So there are many that we're keeping out. For example, Rupert.
I thought so.
Rupert is not in this, and people have pointed that out before. And we made the decision to not include Rupert so that other solos could do their thing. But let's talk about the benefits. Obviously, you're getting free models, or free solos, or free weapon crews, depending on how many points you bring. Bringing free weapon crews, although weapon crews costing 6, and then being a key feature of the theme force is a very big deal. And it is one free solo regardless of size. So that means you're looking at free Stannis. You know, you're looking at free Alton. You're looking at free
Weapon crews.
Free Alexia too.
And those solos really matter for that next benefit, combined with the weapon crews especially.
Yeah. So the next benefit is all solos gain mark target. Which, if you're building the Steelhead gun line, all your solos being able to run there and mark target. So now you've got vet leader on your weapon crews. You've got mark target from the solos. You're looking at a +3 swing, not including aiming on a lot of these weapon crews to hit what they want. So while the mortar may be inaccurate, your chances of hitting something you really want to hit is much stronger than you might think. Then you throw in a Damiano with the different coin abilities, and suddenly this gun line gets very, very, very potent. The third ability is my favorite. Steelhead Cav models, so the Hev Cav and Stannis.
And Stannis, yeah.
Pick up Bulldoze. And
Because they got beefy horses.
yes, this included a change to Bulldoze. So for those of you that may have not seen it in the CID notes, Bulldoze is now changing where a model can only be affected by Bulldoze once per turn. We did not post the full list of all the models this will be affecting, but it's a lot. And so after the CID goes live, if this change sticks, which we are pretty sure it will, all of those models are going to get updated with the new Bulldoze. But yeah, being able to have your Cav run in there, bump away like pesky solos that you want to then light up, right? Because you can like move in, bump them, depending on their melee range, get away without a free strike, and then have the mark target, the vet leader, and just light somebody up. Plus, Bulldoze is just an incredible scenario rule and is very, very strong on something as good as Steelhead Cav and Stannis.
Friendly Troll Painter owes you $1, Hungerford. He said Bulldoze changes succulent.
Oh, do I get $1 every time someone says succulent
Did
now?
you not trademark it?
No.
Oh, well then never mind. Use it as you will, folks.
And then the last bullet point is a thematic thing that's also interesting on the tabletop, and it's about the Steelheads. They are one of the premier fighting forces, like tactics and all that stuff. They're not just a bunch of crazy barbarians running around or whatever, or monsters. So they pick where they're going to fight with a lot of purpose. So you get to place a wall somewhere on the table that will give you all kinds of benefits, possibly.
Yeah, I think the main things we're testing in this theme force, obviously, is mark target too good with everything that this gun line can bring to bear, and then is bulldoze on potentially 11 models too strong? So you can take the full FA of Steelhead, Heavy Cav, and then Stannis, and then have 11 large base models bulldozing people all over the place. And maybe that's a bit too strong. In our testing, it didn't prove out to be, but we'll see what everyone thinks when you post your battle reports and let us know what you think.
And we're also always concerned about how many free points you're getting for how many points you put in the army. That might not be something we change at all, but it's another thing we're looking at.
Somebody brings up that it's a 2-inch push on 1-inch models. Just a reminder that bulldoze, you don't have to push them 2 inches, and you don't have to push them the entire 2 inches. With bulldoze, you could push somebody 1 inch, half an inch, whatever you want. It's completely in your control, which is what makes it such a strong ability.
Yeah, it's up to 2 inches directly away. So you don't control the direction, but you do control the distance.
And then last thing that's in the CID is Irregulars got a slight nerf. The amount of points that you have to spend to be able to get free models is up to 30 points now.
Yeah.
This may not, prepare yourselves, this may not be the end of the toning of Irregulars.
This is our first, this should probably do it, but we'll see. Basically,
Irregulars has proven to be strong enough to push out the viability of other theme forces that can use the same models. Laylee's Resistance is unique in that you can bring Signar, Protectorate, Crucible Guard models, right? Cephalix is Cephalix.
Yep.
But if someone's like, I want to build Hammer Strike, I want to build Talion, I want to build Steelheads, but why wouldn't I just do it in Irregulars? We hear that often. Why wouldn't I just do that in Regulars over and over and over again? And it's proven itself. That's like the most played mercenary theme force. Its main benefit is that it's the kitchen sink. It's damn near the entire faction.
Yeah.
I honestly think, we're going to have to go further with Irregulars, and that it might just have to lose benefits because, again, its benefit is that army composition section. So we'll see where Irregulars shakes out, and we're going to be paying very close attention to if, again, the Steelhead theme is falling under Irregulars and nobody's interested.
I mean, I think I like paying, given we're talking about mercenaries, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be paying attention.
Yeah. I told you, my brain is busted today.
Apparently.
So that's all the stuff that's changing in the CID. Let's get to some chat questions and see if anybody's got anything we want to talk about.
Someone with a green name that I can never ever read.
Almighty Foon?
No, I think it's Hate Me Now?
Hate me now.
I don't know.
Hate Me Now.
Is asking about the score in CID. It should be out pretty soon. Probably the next week or two would be my guess.
Yeah. We generally get dynamic updates out within 2-ish months of a CID closing, depending on convention travel and vacations and all that stuff. So
Red Death M also asks, do Thrall solos created by Alexia get marked target? I believe they do.
They're solos. Yeah.
They are solos.
Dragon Pup says, mechanically adept for the Ironhead so they can repair non-faction Jack's smiley face. Not intended for it, but again, show us what you're doing with the battle ports. Show us where you feel that would be super useful. Let us know why and the results you're seeing. And it's not off the table, I don't think, but I wouldn't necessarily expect it to happen.
Brad Park asks, are Galleon changes incoming? We talked about this a little bit earlier in this chat. The Galleon, that Pirate CID that got pushed back, that was kind of in this slot previously, still exists. So the Galleon will get looked at whenever that happens, which will be at some point in the future.
Striker 911 says, what is the thing you're each watching the most? Mine is the 3 solos and what they're bringing, but specifically the crane ability of the Ironhead and everything the Arcanist is doing.
Mine is the cannons, all the cannons, being viable and different, and not just, well, this is the one I always play because it's the best.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about Alexia, and I want to make sure that she's great and viable and playable, but isn't pushing out everything else.
Ironhead model, is it a closed or open cockpit on the model? I don't know.
There's been different conversations about that. That's in the production side of things with the sculptors and the people in the back making the models. So that concept art was originally drawn for everything it could be, but we don't know what the final version is going to look like. It comes down to complexity of engineering it and cost of parts and all those kind of things. Stuff we don't participate in officially.
Yes.
Shunser asks, Trident and War Room? Yes, there'll be a War Room update soon, hopefully this week, where it should get added. So expect it soon.
And there was a question about the Enigma Foundry change, which was part of a different CID, so it'll come out then.
Hate Me Now says, do you think the name Steelhead Ironhead is silly?
Nope.
Nope. Just call him Metalhead. Is it intended for the gunner to give desperate pace to other faction weapon crews? Yes.
not.
I think it was. I think it got discussed, but we'll bring it up again.
When you say other faction weapon crews,
I'm guessing it's missing a faction tag. Would be my guess.
it says target friendly weapon crew.
Yeah.
So,
It was
so
brought up.
that's-
We discussed it, but we can review it again.
yeah. Probably not. Maybe. We'll see.
Beauty and Beast just got into War Machine thanks to my friends. Excited about this. Any tips for a new player? Play games, have fun.
A ton of tips. Take it slow. So this game is very big. It's got a lot of strategy, and it's very easy for a lot of people to immediately overwhelm you by telling you all the models that are only thing you should play, what's unplayable, don't do this, make sure you're playing with the death clock, you better play Steamroller because that's the only one he does.
75 points or that's it.
Ignore all of that.
Yeah.
And play the game with your friends how you want to. If y'all just want to play 20-point armies, 35-point armies to start and then work your way up, and if you decide you want to play competitively and play in tournaments, then you start looking at Steamroller. You get up to that. Do what you want, experiment, have fun. Part of this, the fun of this game is experimental list building and discovering what models do on your own. You're going to get crushed a couple times as you try something and it doesn't work out, and sometimes you're going to have a roaring success as you try something and it does way better than you ever thought. So my top advice, play the game at your own pace. Don't let other people think for you.
Play games, have fun.
Sweet.
And now we're getting a bunch of questions we've already seen. So,
Seems like a wrap then.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Will the Steelhead theme make it onto the next ADR? Do we know if
No,
that's happening?
it will
yet?
not be on the next ADR. By the way, the next ADR should be previewed. It's wrapped up. It's designed. The design folks that do the actual layout that go on the website are fixing everything right now. And so as soon as those graphics are done, you'll see an insider or a post showing you a preview, and then it all goes live in January. So you will see the next Champions ADR real soon. Yep. Looks like that's most of the questions that we were looking to get to. So thank you everybody for joining us. We'll see all of you tomorrow for Dallas's Get Your Paint On, and we'll see you Friday for 2 different shows. So join us again at twitch.tv/privateerpress. Don't forget, today is the last day for the Legend of the Five Rings mini crate. 19th is the last
Well,
day for the Ice Queen Linus.
This is the last day for the first model.
The first model.
Dragon
Yeah.
Clan champion Togashi Yokuni.
And tomorrow we'll
I
show off.
noticed none of you guys ever say his name.
Oh, I don't know. I don't say his name. And tomorrow we'll show off which model of the ones we previewed is the next model.
Absolutely.
Tony, if you're watching, you failed to get T for Pagani. I still love you, though. You're a wonderful human being. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
I'm sorry.